Ready?
We're both children of the 1970s, and obviously there was a seismic event in the mid-70s when Star Wars hit for the first time. We're around a similar age, and it utterly changed so much. I mean, it changed society, let alone cinema. But I remember just being, just blown away by it, you know, and kind of coming out of the movie theater with a poster rolled up, going.
Yeah, it was great. It's funny. I remember seeing in a magazine about 6 months before the movie came out, and I remember seeing Star Wars, and it was the logo, and I remember saying aloud, "Star Wars." It was like I remember I'd never said those words together before. I'd never heard that, and there was something about it that felt sort of. It was unusual, and I remember feeling like that was, you know, odd. I didn't know Star Wars, and it's so strange to remember before it was something that we're just born knowing about, and kids now it's just Star Wars. What you know? But like you, when I first saw it, I was 11, and it was impossible. It was just suddenly this expansive possibility was there of you know, storytelling, and you know, it was a modern day myth, and I just, that was my thing. Meanwhile, with Star Trek, I had friends who loved it, and I just never, I tried. I'd sit and watch episodes and try to find my way in, and for some reason, I think because it was a more philosophical, sort of debate-driven show, I loved the action of Star Wars, and Trek never seemed to really have that.
Which kind of pinpoints what I think you did with Star Trek to bring it back with such, you know, incredible force, which is, if you pardon the pun, which is to inject it with a little bit of science fiction fantasy, which is more what Star Wars is. You see, Star Trek is like science fiction, and
I totally agree with that. But I would say that, you know, even now discussing Star Wars, the approach, it's so different. It's such a disparate universe, and I think that the history of it, the tone of it, the approach of it, the feel, the themes of it feel incredibly different to me. Star Wars to Star Trek.
Are you doing Star Wars now?
Oh, you didn't know?
I'm very excited that JJ's doing Star Wars as a fan, you know, just because I know it feels weird saying this to you. But I don't have to say any of that because I entirely trust JJ's creative vision. So it's something that I'm happy to it just feels like it's in safe hands now. You know, you get it like a Star Wars fan gets it. You know, like I get it. It has that meaning to you, and I know that that's what you'll walk forwards with in whatever form it takes.
Well, thank you. I would say the following, that it's an interesting thing working on Star Trek, being, unlike you, someone who never quite got it, actually, until we started working on it. But I feel like that was always a little bit of something to fall back on, kind of a safety net, not being a fan, because it forced questions about what we were doing. It couldn't just be acceptable because it existed and I loved it because I was a fan.
Yeah.
And I think part of the challenge, obviously, moving forward with anything that you come to sort of pre-loving, it's like that question of, you know, you have to kind of force yourself to start over and not assume anyone's going to care.
Absolutely.
Or assume anyone's going to be invested.
Now the title, The Further Adventures of Jar Jar Binks. Wise? Or...